The review of the F-35 acquisition project continues. It is one that is going to take the time it's going to take. We're going to get this right. This is a major acquisition for Canada.
We are very much interested in the offer by Saab over the Gripen and the creation of jobs in Canada and working together regarding Ukraine. But we need to have more details about it because we need to be able to, do the work, the analysis of how much we could benefit out of it. But we'll continue the conversations for sure.
In Ottawa, something has changed, quietly, without cameras or a big announcement. Sweden has stepped forward with more than just another fighter jet offer. It has challenged Canada's biggest defense decision in decades. Who really controls a fighter jet after a country buys it? Canada signed a deal in January 2023 to buy 88 F-35 jets from Lockheed Martin to replace its aging CF-18 Hornets. At first, the deal looked simple: a modern NATO fighter for Canada's future. But the cost quickly became a major concern. The original price was around 19 billion Canadian dollars. And by 2024, Canada's Auditor General reported the projected acquisition cost had risen to 27.7 billion Canadian dollars. That is where Sweden's Gripen offer becomes important. Saab is not just offering Canada another aircraft. It is offering a different model. More flexibility, faster upgrades, national control, and software freedom. In 2026, fighter jets are not just machines with wings. They are flying computers. And whoever controls the software can control the mission. Now Ottawa faces a serious question. Should Canada depend fully on one expensive, restricted platform? Or should it consider a fighter that gives Canada more control over its own data, weapons, and future upgrades? That is the real challenge Sweden has placed before Canada. And it could reshape the future of the Royal Canadian Air Force. By early 2026, Canada's F-35 deal no longer looked like a simple jet purchase. With maintenance, software upgrades, weapons, infrastructure, and long-term support included, some estimates pushed the total cost closer to 30 billion Canadian dollars. That was no longer just expensive, it was a strategic burden. Then, in March 2025, Prime Minister Mark Carney ordered a formal review of the entire F-35 purchase. Canada now had to decide whether to buy all 88 jets, reduce the order, or reshape the deal completely. But no final answer came, and that silence made the issue even more serious. The timing mattered. Canada-US relations were under pressure because of tariffs and growing political tension. For decades, Canada trusted America as its main defense partner. But now Ottawa had to ask a harder question. What happens when your most advanced military aircraft depends on a political relationship that can suddenly change? That is why the F-35 debate is bigger than stealth. It is about control. Canada may buy the aircraft, but does it fully control the software, upgrades, weapons, mission data, and support system? In modern war, whoever controls the software controls the mission. And for Canada, that uncertainty has become impossible to ignore. The F-35 is not just a fighter jet. It is a connected digital system controlled through software, mission data, upgrades, weapons integration, and support networks. Canada may buy the aircraft and fly it, but it does not fully control the system behind it. Any major change, weapon addition, or software upgrade still depends heavily on U.S. approval. This is why experts call it conditional sovereignty. Canada would own the jet, but America would still influence how freely Canada can upgrade, operate, and sustain it. In a time of Arctic threats and uncertain politics with Washington, that became a serious concern. Then, in April 2026, Saab stepped in with a bold offer: a sovereign data center in Montreal. This would keep Gripen mission data, flight data, weapons data, and classified defense information inside Canada, under Canadian control. No foreign cloud dependency, no outside infrastructure, no foreign law reaching into Canada's military data. Saab's message was clear. Canada would not just fly the Gripen. Canada would control its data, protect it, and own it. But the offer went further. Saab reportedly proposed 72 Gripen EF fighters and 6 Global Eye surveillance aircraft, giving Canada both combat power and wide-area air defense coverage. The Global Eye is built on the Bombardier Global 6000, linking the deal directly to Canadian industry. Saab also offered full Gripen assembly lines inside Canada, meaning Canadian workers, factories, and engineers could become part of the program. That is why Sweden's offer is powerful. It is not just selling Canada a fighter jet. It is selling control, data ownership, industrial strength, and strategic independence. For Ottawa, the real question is no longer only which jet is better. The real question is, does Canada want to buy air power or truly own it?
Rolls-Royce also entered the debate with a major promise: engine production in Montreal and Winnipeg. This changed the Gripen offer from a simple aircraft purchase into a real industrial opportunity for Canada. Analysts estimated the full package could support around 12,600 direct and indirect jobs. In short, Canada would not just buy jets, it could help build them. That matters because local Gripen production could open the door to exports. Ukraine, Poland, and Colombia had already shown interest in the platform, and Saab suggested Canada could become part of a wider Gripen export network, possibly serving a market of 150 aircraft or more. Suddenly, this was not only about Canada's Air Force, it was about Canada's future role in the global defense industry. Time also made the offer stronger. Saab said Canada could receive Gripens within 3 to 5 years, while full F-35 deliveries would stretch deep into the 2030s. With Canada's aging CF-18 fleet already under pressure, Ottawa could not afford endless delays. Lockheed Martin responded quickly. On April 21, 2026, it announced a plan with MASS, the Canadian arm of L3 Harris, to build an F-35 maintenance facility in Mirabel, Quebec. The message was clear. The F-35 program could also protect Canadian jobs and bring support work inside Canada. But the deeper issue remained control. Lockheed argued that F-35 partners get the data access they need. Critics, however, saw a key difference. The F-35 still begins inside an American-controlled system. Saab's Gripen offer starts differently. Canadian mission data, Canadian personnel, Canadian soil, and Canadian control from day one. That is why this fight is no longer only about jets. It is about trust, time, jobs, data, and sovereignty. The F-35 offers stealth and NATO integration. The Gripen offers speed, flexibility, local production, and more control. Now Ottawa must decide what matters more: the power to fly or the power to control what it flies.
The proposed Gripen data center in Montreal would keep Canada's military data on Canadian soil from day one. That is the key difference. The F-35 system adds protection inside a foreign-controlled structure, while Gripen removes that dependency from the beginning. In today's political climate, that is not a small detail. It is a strategic issue. The pressure is already clear. In November 2025, U.S. Ambassador Pete Hoekstra warned that Canada walking away from the F-35 deal could strain NORAD. The message was not just about aircraft. It was about alliance loyalty and political alignment with Washington. But critics argue that interoperability is not the real problem. NATO countries already operate different aircraft while staying connected inside alliance networks. So the real question is not whether Canada can operate a non-American fighter. The real question is whether Canada has the political will to do it. Right now, Canada remains stuck. The F-35 review, launched in March 2025, still has no clear end date. Canada is committed to the first 16 F-35s and has paid to protect slots for 14 more, but the remaining 58 jets are still uncertain. That is why Saab's 2026 Gripen offer changed the debate. It is no longer only Gripen versus F-35. It is about data, control, jobs, infrastructure, and sovereignty. In modern war, the server can be as important as the jet. And now Canada must choose: dependence with stealth or sovereignty with control.